All right, what's going on, everyone? I just saw Toy Story 5. Did another late screening, so it's like 2 a.m. over here. I gotta say, when I heard they were making a fifth one, I was kind of like, I don't know how this is really gonna go because I just watched 4 recently for the first time and I really liked it. But again, I didn't think that it really added much to the franchise. I mean, overall, I think giving Woody and Bo Peep their kind of, not their like send off, but kind of like their emotional crescendo where it kind of was like, they went through their arc. Andy had his arc for the first 3 movies. By the end of the fourth one, Woody has, his arc, finds his way. But then I heard that Jesse is going to be the main character for this movie. And that makes a lot of sense because, again, Woody had his happy send off. And so now Jesse and Buzz also kind of need their own kind of emotional arc that will pay off. And I feel like this movie really nails it, especially having Jesse mainly focus on her, kind of delve more into her past, kind of having her take charge and be the main focus of the movie. It's essentially about Bonnie is still around, she's still got all the toys, all the same cast that you know and love, Joan Cusack is Jesse, Tom Hanks is Woody, Tim Allen is Buzz. Some new characters that show up as well. You still got Forky and Duke Kaboom and Trixie and all that from the last movie and the third one. So Jesse is trying to help Bonnie make some new friends because it's kind of hard for her to make friends. She still plays with toys, she still has a big imagination, and they start to notice that all these kids have all these devices, like iPad, they're called lily pads, but like tablets and phones and stuff like that. And so anytime Bonnie tries to make friends with people, with other kids, like with her toys, they kind of laugh her off, kind of bully her about it. And then eventually Bonnie's parents buy her the lily pad, who is voiced by Greta Lee. From there, it just escalates through all this stuff where, it kind of relates to anxiety and Inside Out 2, how anxiety is like, I know what's best for Bonnie. I'm going to do all these things that escalate and eventually, was it right for Bonnie? Was it not right for her? The lily pad is trying to help her make friends in her dance class. And it's like, are they good for Bonnie? Are they not good for her? Do they really relate to her? Can she actually form meaningful relationships with them? And that's essentially the core of the movie. I won't go more into it to not spoil it. But I think overall, it just was a really good commentary on, technology and how it can be useful. But again, it's just more like you have a kid who's growing up, trying to find themselves, and then you're just like, here's your little tablet, your little iPad. Just sit there, scroll online, play video games all day long. See things online you're not supposed to yet. Grow up faster than you should. Lose that kind of social ability. Bonnie, after she gets the lily pad, before she was always, nervous, kind of shy, but even more so, she's like always hugging the lily pad anytime someone talks to her, and she's always looking at it. So I think that's very relatable as someone who, at least that I'm technically Gen Z. I was born in 2000, and I think like the tail end of Gen Z, like 2006, is when it started like to become more prevalent. Because I have younger siblings who are like 1/5 my age, and I remember growing up that they were just sitting there. My parents just gave them an iPad, and they were just sitting there all day long, scrolling. And it's just not a way to raise a child. It's good in moderation. Like 1 hour a day you get to get screen time, but just to, instead of raising your kid, just being like, here, internet, do it. And then when the internet doesn't raise your child in a way you want, you lash out at the technology. So I like that they tackled that in this movie really well. And I think just with Jesse's story in general, I think it has one of the most beautiful moments in the whole franchise, in my opinion. The where Jesse's arc leads up to, again, no spoilers, but just when it reaches the pinnacle of the emotion it hits, how her story goes is just really nice. And I think in this movie I probably related to Bonnie the most. Again, just because growing up in a time where technology was coming up, trying to make friends and trying to have the newest thing. I don't have the new iPhone, or I don't have the new this and that, and people are showing up to school showing off their fancy new devices and stuff like that. And how the internet creates, it was always like that, like clicks and stuff like that, but even more so on the internet. someone in person can be nice and friendly to you, you know, like, oh yeah, be all friendly, and then online they're talking crap about you behind your back. And that also gets tackled here as well with Bonnie and her supposed friends. So it's just all around really relatable. Like I started getting devices around end of middle school into high school, and yeah, I relied on them a lot. You know, I was the kid in class when everyone was socializing. I was just like, do 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 do. So I think just overall, just very relatable. Woody and Buzz are more like side characters in this movie. You know, Woody at the end of the fourth movie, he's off with Bo Peep, and then Jesse, as you see in the trailer, Jesse calls Woody, and she's like, you know, we need some help dealing with this lily pad situation. But it's not like you know, Woody shows up and takes over the movie. It's still Jesse's movie. Tom Hanks, Woody is just kind of again a supporting character, helping along the way. You know, Jesse runs into some new characters. You know, Conan O'Brien's in this movie. He plays Smarty Pants. It's like a potty trainer device. Craig Robinson plays like one of those GPS flip phone things, and Shelby Ribera. I don't think I've seen anything she's in. She plays Snappy, which is like a portable camera kind of thing. So those are like the new characters you run into, and they're a great addition. They could probably make a sixth movie. They probably will, because this movie will probably make a ton of money. You know, somewhere down the line, like another 5-7 years. But I feel like between the last movie and this movie, like all of the main characters pretty much have a good, not send off, but like their arcs seem to have finished. So if they did another movie, it would be like maybe Bonnie is growing up and they have to go to another kid or something. But again, that would just be repeating story beats, and I don't know how that would go. It was also written and directed by Andrew Stanton and McKenna Harris, who both have extensively worked at Pixar and Disney. Andrew Stanton directed WALL-E, and that movie hasn't, obviously the whole thing is about technology and the destruction of Earth and how the planet gets mistreated and stuff like that. And I feel like those themes carry over with the technology in here. And I was like, that makes sense why he was one of the directors, because again, he made WALL-E, and that's like one of the best Pixar movies. So overall, I think the movie was really good. You know, it could be recency bias because I just walked out of it, but I just think the emotional beats really hit. You know, it's got that nice sense of adventure. There's, you know, like Buzz Lightyear, you know, he gets kind of an upgrade in this movie, and it's kind of dope. And I'm like, if they start selling that toy, I'm gonna buy it. I think for me now, it was kind of weird doing this, so I might need to sit on it a little bit more. But I think my ranking for the 5 movies is 2, 1, 3, 5, and 4. I think they're all really good movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think 4 is bad at all. I just think, you know, 1 through 3 is more like nostalgia because I grew up watching those. 4 I just saw recently. I enjoyed it, but 5 I think just hits on another level. So, and yeah, I think I would give this movie like a 9 out of 10, honestly. I feel like after maybe some more viewings it might go up, but I think for now it's just, yeah, it's a 9 out of 10. It's a really good movie. I think every parent and their child should see it. Obviously it's going to happen anyway because it's Toy Story, but I think the themes are really good. Hopefully people will do some like introspection about how they're raising their children and technology and how it plays into their kids' lives and stuff like that. And I think it's just a really important movie to have right now. And it's told through the world of Toy Story, which I think is like the perfect medium to do that. So let me know down below. Did you see Toy Story 5? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe. Peace.